Big good one here, and eventually we will like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, help promote and rank up my channel. So, this is going to be an episode 9 review of season 1 of Lord of the Rings: Rings of Power. A spoiler review. And I won't be returning for season 2. Maybe if season 2 finishes with a lot of good word of mouth, I'll return. But I don't like tuning in for an hour long show of something I don't find entertaining when that totals out to 9 hours plus of entertainment, 9 hours plus of my life gone. I gave this show the benefit of the doubt. I'm no hardcore fan of Lord of the Rings, but there's not a lot of stuff to review right now, and I thought the Lord of the Rings trilogy was an incredibly solid trilogy of films. Incredibly solid. This is one of the most expensive shows, too, so I thought, hey, it's probably a no-brainer that it'll be pretty damn great, pretty action-packed and all that. You'll have some Game of Thrones stuff like Battle of the Bastards in there that's just great and epic to see, to watch. And because it's Lord of the Rings, it'll definitely be more friendly than something like Game of Thrones, which is not family friendly at all. But this show is just very flimsy and heavily reliant on being based off a good popular IP. And it does the bare minimum with it. I'm not well versed in the source material. I'm not going to pretend to be. There are other critics out there that are way more knowledgeable and they can call out way more than me. One of them I'd actually recommend is James Hancock. Very great at source material. He's got all the books in the background, all that. He can tell you everything you need to know and what's wrong with this. But as for me, I just view it off, I judge it off its writing. Because I wanted to be a writer before. And the climate of Hollywood has drastically changed so much that it's just unappealing to be the kind of guy that wants to write hit shows or big blockbusters. You more want to be the kind of guy that writes indie movies because Hollywood and the politics of it. So, like I was saying, the show is, it does the bare minimum with this, with the source material. It's based off, it's very reliant on that, and I judge things off writing, performance, visuals. I'm no diehard fan of anything with a built-in bias. Like, I love Marvel Comics, but if they put out something I think is trash, I'm gonna straight up say, this is trash, this is not good, the writing is awful. I think the Marvel Cinematic Universe was incredibly strong before Phase 4, but I had problems with certain films even before then. The late entry of Ant-Man and how he wasn't involved in Age of Ultron, which he could have been easily scripted in, and it would have made a better film for it. So, moving on to this show, instead of talking about other things, in this show, there's a lack of depth to characters, relationships, context to how and why certain things are happening. This episode reveals 2 big things. Spoiler warning, Halbrand is actually Sauron. And the sell of it is just dropped so casually without any epicness to it. Like, hey babe, I'm Sauron. Let's bring peace together. Let's rule together. I'm a good man. I can change. At first, all season long, I thought it was just dumb writing. Halbrand gets ahead of Adar, if I even remember his name correctly, and Galadriel. He gets ahead of them on horseback, cuts them off after they left first. I'm like, what the hell? Can this guy just teleport, or is this show just that bad with writing? Then the volcanic eruption kills almost everybody except for main characters conveniently. Hellbrand is so badly wounded he needs an elf healer. Ride on horseback for 6 days, no problem. Then, in the making of the first 3 rings, in which he only wanted 2, it's revealed he's Sauron. So, insightful Gladriel is actually made to look so stupid because it was her that insisted believing he was king of the South. Yes, it's actually still bad writing because it's dumb writing. Because it shows believing the audience is stupid. Why, as Sauron, is he even helping in the creation of the first 3 rings? When it saves the elven people, and that whole plot line is dumb. Our light is dying out. Oh, we need this mineral. We need this ore, this rock. Such a dumb plot. Again, I'm not familiar with the source material like everybody is, but I think this is a dumb plot. This whole time, and they're like, yeah, he's king of the South, chanting, yeah, king of the South. That last episode, they try to sell you some, like, really emotionally resonant scene where you're just supposed to vibe with this, supposed to be so into this, people chanting king of the South as he rides off with Galadriel. But he's not king of the South. And first off, the South is nothing shown to be king of. A village or 2 that's already been burned to the ground? What the fuck are you supposed to be king of? There's nothing there to be king of. Nothing that would ever sell it as epic. Like a divided, all these villages just divided off, or all these cities divided off, that somebody needs to unite. There's never anything in there that indicates there's something huge to unite with one man. So that never worked for me, and that's one of the problems with these writers. They try to sell you something like that you're supposed to feel engaged with, but you can't because there's a lack of context there. Then there's the mysterious stranger, the priests that have been stalking him this whole season, that think he's Sauron until he says the most simplistic dialogue, which this show is insanely guilty of. Tolkien stuff is supposed to be poetic and all this, and poetic, insightful, but this is just the most simplistic crap you could ever hear. He's like, oh, I'm good. And they're like, no, oh no, he's the other one. What, the other of what? The opposite of evil? How did they ever come to the conclusion this mysterious giant was Sauron because he fell from the sky? Where's the context? Not, and what's the other? Like, there's no context as always. Before they're killed, there's no explanation of what they were thinking, why they thought this guy falling from the sky was Sauron, or why they suddenly gasped, oh no, he's the other. There's no context, as always, before they're killed. And that's the writing of the show. Lack of context, simplistic dialogue, lack of momentum, lack of build-up, depth to any characters, any relationship. This show has nothing going for it except the Lord of the Rings brand, and strangely enough, slow motion horse rides and asphyxiation on horses that make it seem as if some rider, little boy or girl, didn't get a pony when they were a child, so they have to include this stuff because it means so much to them. And it just, Jesus, God, what the hell is this crap? The only good news from all this is that the dirty hippie Harfoots should not only be largely absent from the show itself, from the series itself, because only one of them is going to tag along with the mysterious stranger, the wizard, who be their traveling companion on a Lord of the Rings style adventure across Middle Earth. If word is from trusted YouTubers that season 2 is actually good, was actually good, then I'll review the entire season at once in one setting. But I'm done. I'm done with this show. Just like She-Hulk, I went through the whole series, giving it the benefit of the doubt. Like, I'll judge it on its merits, on its positives and negatives. And I won't say this show is as bad as She-Hulk, because She-Hulk actually find to be one of the most god-awful experiences ever in entertainment to watch. It's the writing on that show that killed it and made it so terrible. The writing on that show is god-awful. The writing on this show, it's just so bland, generic, and there's no depth in here that makes you really feel something. Now, I will say that it was a little intriguing to see Hellbrand going to Mordor, and I'm curious how that will turn out, but unless I hear word of mouth from YouTubers I trust that season 2 was actually good when it finishes out, then I'll tune in to watch it, review it, the entire season myself. And I'll do that in one video. I'll do a season 2 overview. But if I hear nothing but a bunch of negatives, that it's still this bad and god awful, I won't tune in. I'm not one of those channels that tune in just to hate watch something. No, I don't give a damn. I don't need the... That's not what I want my audience built off. I want my audience built off honesty. My honest critique of something. That's what you get here. So, this season of Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, pretty god-awful. I don't know where the hell the budget went. You have all this beautiful scenery, and then these weird slow motion horse rides. I mean, do you want to fuck a horse? Do you want to get fucked by a horse? Or do you just really want to own a horse? Or do you already own a horse and just you're so in love with your pet horse that this shit's baffling to me. Anyways, season 1 sucked to me. Maybe other people feel differently. I'm not gonna rate this on a scale of 1 to 10 because I think it's pretty stupid and awful. It's pretty boring and bland. Whereas you have other shows like She-Hulk that are just the dumbest shit I've ever seen written. That was god awful. This is bland. Like, subscribe, comment. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. And again, here, this is a channel where it's okay for you to have the opposite opinion. And for your comments to include what made you really like this show, what made you really into it. I want to hear that stuff. I appreciate hearing that stuff from other people, because it's not like, oh, if you don't like what I like, go F yourself. That's not what I'm about. This is more of a neutral ground. If you like something differently than me, then I want to know why. I want to know what works for you. If you agree with me, then that's cool too. Like, but I'm not going to hold some grudge against you because you disagree with me. That's stupid. That's dumb. Everybody has a different perspective that stems from having a different life experience. So like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Stay awesome. Rock on.